All right, this is a live show from Providence, Rhode Island after the Beyond Wrestling show. I put a clip of the show online with myself and Joey Ryan. Also, I put a clip up of the little kid that you're going to be able to hear throughout the show on my YouTube channel. So make sure and check out me and Aiden freestyling on the stage. This was a fun show. I enjoyed doing it. The crowd liked it. Hopefully there's more opportunities to do this kind of stuff before or after wrestling shows, all depending on whether you liked it. But I dug it. The people dug it. So that's what's important. Let's get right into the show. But before we do, let's get some plugs and
upcoming events.
All right, the Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, the Facebook /AOW podcast and /Colt Cabana, my very public email, coltwrestling@gmail.com. Maybe you're a promoter, want to put me on your upcoming show or convention, cutmypromo.com. I did one with Aiden from this episode. Also, I didn't put one up this week because I had the guy cut the promo for the next week. I do so many shows, I forget what week is what. And also head on over to the kind of brandly new vamped coltcabana.com. I got my P.O. box there. You can send me some stuff in the snail mail. Always enjoy that. Upcoming Friday, July 17th, Marionette Park, Illinois, aawrestling.com. Saturday, July 18th, Clinton Township, Michigan, xicwdetroit.com. July 24th and 25th, or 25th and 26th, probably at AM. Gathering of the Juggalos, juggalogathering.com in Thornville, Ohio. Thursday, July 30th, Dallas, Texas. This is a comedy show at the dallascomedyhouse.com. A little bit of a preview before I head into Edinburgh. Friday, July 31st, Dallas, Texas, podcastmovement.com. I think that's free. I'm doing the podcast awards there. Saturday, August 1st, London, Kentucky, Facebook /PWRSEKY. And then August 7th through the 31st, I'm going to be Edinburgh, Scotland. The comedy show every single night, 11 p.m., thestand.co.uk for tickets for that. Sundays, insanewrestling.co.uk for the shows. And then go to coltcabana.com. There's a link to get tickets for the live podcasts or just show up the day of. I think it's £6 the day of if you show up. Also, Saturday, August 29th, while I'm in Scotland, Dundee, Scotland, Facebook /SWE. Online. All right, throwing it over to the live one. Enjoy yourself, and we'll see you next week.
This is The Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
It's Colt Cabana.
I think I heard some booze in there. All right. How you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax, have a good time. You are listening to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entryway into the minds, souls, hearts, and lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. Hello. Nothing's up. I am a guy in a weird dungeon bar. I'm a Rhode Islander. What would a Providence person call themselves? A roadie? I'm a just like BG James, I am a roadie. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am not sitting here live in the studio. No, sadly, I am here at, hold on. Fete. Yeah. The Fete Music Venue in Providence, Rhode Island, in front of a live studio audience. Wonderful. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday. ColtCabana.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, all those places. Great way to support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, tweet somebody out. Just know that you're here at a live show, and then you're going to tweet out pictures of us on here, and that's a great way to do it. A couple guys are falling asleep, or maybe tweeting right now. That you're doing a great job of supporting by actually tweeting out. Nope, he was asleep, actually. There is no phone in his hand. He was asleep. Those are great ways to support. Of course, coltmerch.com, digitalcolt.com. T-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads. Great ways to support the podcast and support this thing going. But we are live right now. I'm excited. Just finished Beyond Wrestling. Where I heard a boo. Who's the booer? Or it's just like, he's just a hard wooer. A hard wooer. Just Stan Hansening the fuck out of this place right now. Yes. Little known fact about that, Stan Hansen was on tour with us in Japan, and a couple tours ago, Chris Hero and I got these sweatshirts. On the back it said "Youth," and it had like the Stan Hansen skull. And the guy was like, he's like this guy named Haru who makes all this, like the Sandman ECW shirt. If you guys remember that, he made that. Like he's this great artist. You guys would probably recognize his work. And he was like, yes, Stan Hansen. When he throws up his fingers, he says, no, it's not a too sweet. And he says that's youth. He says he's yelling youth. And we were all like, bullshit. And then he confirmed that, yeah, Stan Hansen, everyone thinks he's just going, boo. He's saying youth. So if anything, no matter how awful this goes tonight, we have learned something. You guys are going to be yelling that, and I'm going to be thinking that you're booing me the whole time. Okay, we making a good phone call? Who are we talking to? Ordering pizza for everybody? He's got his credit card out. He's got no service here. Feel free to call anyone you want. Yeah. Well, let's. Okay, so a lot of people have to drive home, get the fuck out of here. So let's get in some guests right away, and then I'll bullshit as this one man put his thumb down and made a raspberry. You can stay here all night, but some of the wrestlers gotta get out of here. So for the first guest tonight, we have. I'm very excited to get him on the stage. Please welcome Nick Gage to the cage. There he is. I said Nick Gage to the cage, and I felt real proud of myself. How are you, Nick? Oh, my God, I'm so scared right now.
Who the man? I said, who's the man?
What about me? You could just do that?
Listen, I love my fans, and they know it, man.
Wow. Do you feel bad that there's 1, 2, like 3 people? Aiden, how old are you? Okay, there's 3 kids under 13. And like, there was just a sweet Nick fucking Gage chant, right? That's okay.
I'm all right with it, man.
All right. At what age were you swearing?
I would say about as soon as I popped out of the womb.
Yeah.
I bet you my first words was swearing.
Yeah. Like, you just pop. Oh, fuck. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right to me, my man.
Oh, what I love about wrestling is just the weird, okay, hold on now. You need to relax. Because you can mess with me and I might not do anything, but Gage is right here, and he will take you down.
I might do something.
Yeah. You're like, I know you have a long drive home, but like, in a perfect scenario, you would be the Art of Wrestling bouncer, I feel. It's
the first time I heard that, my man.
Yeah? Did you ever do any bouncing work?
I've definitely done bouncing work, man, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, that was not a question. What bouncing work did you do?
I did a bouncing job in Florida, man. It was a rough neighborhood, man.
What neighborhood?
Fort Myers, Florida, man. Straight in the ghetto, man.
So tell me the job.
Let's see. I showed up about 6 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning, man.
What kind of bar?
Some shady bar, man.
Yeah.
Some shady bars, some riffraffs, a lot of probably drug dealing.
How do you get that job? You like?
I knew the owner.
Okay.
He knew my background a little bit. He knew I can go in for real, and he offered me the job, and I took it, man.
Yeah. And any bouncer stories?
Yeah, I definitely got one bouncer story. You want to hear this one?
I would love to hear it.
You guys want to hear this one? So I got a girl and I got a guy. Of course, it's a couple, and they had too much to drink. Of course, that always happens, right?
The 12-year-old goes, yep. Oh, yeah.
So it starts escalating, and then you got friends that are trying to break it up, right? So the one girl takes a bottle and throws it. Nails him right in the head. So I grab her by the neck, and I choke her, and I drag her out of the bar. Hold on. The problem with that is
The problem with that is that you choked the girl.
The problem with that is now he's feeling some type of way that I choked his girlfriend out of the bar. So now he offers me to fight me in the parking lot.
Okay.
I don't back down from a fight. I think you guys know that. So I light him up and knock him out in the parking lot, man. Go right back in the bar and start bouncing again, man.
Just like nothing happened.
Yeah, and then a few choice words. He's going to kill me after I get out. He was a no-show.
They always are.
Yeah, right?
I know what you're talking about. Same thing happened at my Hebrew school. Man, what were you doing in Florida? I always took you as an East Coaster.
You know what? I moved down to Florida, got away from a few things, stopped wrestling for a little bit, and just caught a job down there, man. Just try to chill and hang out. And then they said Florida's a nice chill spot, but to be honest with you, man, I did it ass backwards, man. I was more out of control in Florida than I was in my life.
So at what point, like what year was this where you're like, okay, I'm breaking from wrestling?
Let's see. I'm going to say about 08.
Okay.
07, I came back, so around there. 07, 06, around there.
07, you came back?
Yeah, I came back to CZW like 08. Yeah.
Okay, so you were down there in 07.
Yeah, I just left, man. I didn't tell no one, and me and my girl packed the car, and we just traveled to Florida, man. And
bouncing was the work to do?
Bouncing, she was the bartender, man.
Okay.
And then, we just survived like that, my man.
Yeah, that's how it works for you.
Man. I mean, it was all right. You know what I mean? But I was out of control, man. You know?
And then you were like, I got to get out of this Florida and go back to crazy wrestling.
I feel like the cops want us to leave, my man.
Jesus.
Law enforcement, let's just put it this way. Me and my girl are not welcome in the state of Florida no more.
Wow. Putting it out on the podcast, just letting those Florida deputies know.
That's all right, man. These are my fans, man, and I let my fans know everything about my background and my story. I think that's why they love me, man, because I put it all out.
Man. And like your story is pretty wild. Like recently, just incarcerated.
I think everyone knows that. Yeah,
right?
I just did 4.5 years in prison.
4.5 years of prison. And I'm a believer. Like, and are you a believer of like you did your time, you did your justice?
I'm a strong believer. Everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
And it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
The best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, because in prison you got a lot of time to reflect. You know what I'm saying? So I just reflect and goddamn, I'm in a good space right now, man. And I hit the weights hard in there, and that really changed my whole mental mindset, man. And I'm really focused. But when I was locked up, man. This is why I have a strong bond with my fans, man, because they all were shooting me letters in there for 4 years saying, stay strong, keep your head up. And that's why when I go to these shows and I tell my fans, man, I do it for you guys. And I love my fans, man. And that's why I do this shit, man, just for my fans, man.
I don't know much about, hell yeah.
That's the truth, man. I'm not bullshitting you guys, man. I speak from the heart, man. That's the truth, man.
I don't know much about the jail life, right?
Yeah.
But like when you say shooting me letters, like do you have access to email? I don't know how it works.
Sorry, I hit you with some prison slang.
Yeah, no.
Just send them letters through mail, man.
Real letters.
Real letters, and it was actually from around the world, man. I got letters from Japan, Germany, England, across the United States, man. It just random strangers, man, just saying keep strong, man. We love you. Keep your head up, man. And when you're down and out some days in there, man, because it's repetitive. It's like the same stuff going on every day. And you hear your name get called from mail, and it's a stranger, and you open a letter, and he says, stay strong. We love you. Can't wait till you get out. And, it's hard to explain, man. It's a good feeling.
Is that true? Like things like a letter or like a phone call? Like it just...
Well, it's you miss the small things when you're out there, man. You know what I mean? And yeah, just a letter, man. It just get me going. Like, damn, man, it's a crappy day today. Oh, wow, look at this, man. A random stranger sent me a letter saying, stay strong. And it was consistent, man. It wasn't like first couple of months I'm locked up. It's 4 years straight of just straight letters.
I mean, not that that's kind of how it is. It's like it would just start to you would think it would tail off after a year or 6 months.
That's what I would thought, but it definitely didn't.
Any wrestling fans in jail?
I met a few, knew me.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I'll be honest with you, I got in a fight in prison over wrestling. Yeah, they tried to call it fake. That's stupid. And I said, let me show you how fake it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm old school, man. What we do, I think everyone knows what goes on with wrestling. But hitting that mat and doing them moves, it hurts, man. And that's why there's so many injuries in wrestling. And we got in a fist fight over it, man. And I made him respect wrestling after that, man.
Very
Let's
nice.
just put it that way.
Very nice. I love an applause break for beating the shit out of a man in prison. Perfect. Well done. In my mind, Nick, like I was hoping you were like defending like someone like really like Jake the Snake, and you were like, no man, Rick Martel was the man. Like I wish.
You know what? All serious, I was defending the boys, man.
You were, yeah.
Because you know what? Me and you both know the toll it takes on our body when we're in that ring, man. And I was defending wrestling, man. And who the hell's that guy to tell me it's fake, man?
Yeah.
Get out of my face. Pretty much.
And that's cool that you said you hit the weight, because you came out and like I first saw you on the AIW show, and I was like, fuck man, this guy's jacked. He's it's like in a horrible way. I would say, like, I remember I was like, okay, I'll like go to WWE and then I'll be able to come back to the indies kind of like refreshed. Yeah. And you like went to prison and came back like a new person, right, refreshed. You're kind of like,
I feel great, man.
And and like it's almost like a rebirth of you. You're fresh matchups, fresh people seeing you. It's kind of exciting, I'd imagine. And you're not in jail.
Myself, man. I'm not in prison. For now, man. Let's hope I don't go back. You know what I mean?
Well, you learned your lesson.
Yeah,
if there was a lesson to learn, I don't know.
It was definitely a lesson learned.
Okay.
Man. You know what I mean?
Cool, man. Are you on social media and stuff?
I got a Twitter account. I got Facebook, man, and I'm just any way I can reach my fans. That's what
cool.
I want.
What's your Twitter?
I got a guy running it, man. I don't.
You're
really
not even
gonna
tell me. Like Colt? No. Give me 2 packs of cigarettes. I'll tell you the. All right. I mean, okay. Well, go search Nick Gage on Twitter.
Yeah, man. It's pretty much that, man.
And hit him up.
To be honest with you, a guy runs it for me. I'm not too whiz with the computers and stuff like that, but a guy runs it, and I shoot him texts and everything, and he puts it on Twitter for me, man.
My man, what? At the King, Nick Gage from a fan.
Look at the
letting us know. Perfect. Nick, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I got one more thing to say, man.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys are into deathmatch wrestling, but it's something I love to do, man. When it's done the right way, I really love to do it. And September 5th, I'm putting one on for the fans, man. Just straight for the fans, man. Myself, I'm putting my money together for the fans to put a deathmatch tournament together that's done the right way with the best workers in the business, man. And I would like you guys to come, man.
Where at?
Seriously. We're in New Jersey. We're working on location right now, but September 5th is the date.
Okay. At the real King. At the King Nick Gage will be where the information comes from.
Thank you, Colt, man.
Thank you, Nick.
My fans, man. I love you guys, man. Love you guys, man. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate
it. Awesome. Now, listen, welcome up next to the stage, the guy that you've been hearing all night long. Right, the voice of the Boston independent scene, if you will, Rich Paladino.
It's all about dancing with these people.
What's your dance moves?
I don't have any. That's the problem.
Is this a thing that's a thing?
It's definitely a thing.
Okay. It had to have started somewhere.
Ever since I started listening to your podcast, everything in my life is a thing. Really? Whoa. I seriously, if I do this.
They love it. Very
fat guy issues.
I was going to say, very Blue Meanie of you. Hell of a dancer.
Thank you.
Rich, the thing I love about these shows is that, like, I get to have like a plethora of people on, maybe people who I wouldn't be able to sit down with, and we can have you on, learn about you. I know how much you've put into wrestling. I know probably how much the lack of appreciation probably for how much you've put into wrestling, as you nod and agree with unbelievable assurance of it. You've been doing this a long time.
Going on 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
And I said in the Boston area. Is that
acceptable?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've done some stuff in like Delaware and New Jersey. First time I met you was New York City 8th anniversary show, because my ring announcing brethren Bobby Cruz was, he had a vacation book that he couldn't get out of. And that's the first time I met you. And I think after that, I became Bobby Cruz's ring announcing buddy every time I saw you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a good title to have.
But yeah, so if there's money there and it's worth my while.
So it's all about the money, Rich.
Well, look.
I get it.
I believe a former guest of yours, the Iron Sheik, said you were highly intelligent Jew businessman.
Correct. Iron Sheik has said that.
Yes.
My father has said that.
Yes, and I've worked with Sheiky Baby. I'm my friend Richard. Every time I see Sheiky Baby, I've worked with Sheik.
What did he just say? What did he say?
Oh, my friend Richard, and he comes over and he gives me a hug. But
your name is Fred Richard?
My friend.
I know. Okay,
that's all. Not Fred. Maybe I need a gimmick name. I don't know, but I'm highly intelligent Italian businessman. So
let's just call you a Jew. In my mind, anyone who's not from like Iran in Iron Sheik's head is just a Jew. For good. Everyone sighed and like, oh, poor Jew. You poor Jews. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
But anyway.
So I have a friend, Kevin Harvey, who does ring announcing in Chicago, and he would always have these stories of like being around Snuka and being around Iron Sheik.
Oh, yeah.
And being, especially like Tito Santana. I imagine you're in the 22 years, like of all these random shows, like you're schlepping these guys around sometimes, probably.
Yeah.
You're dealing with these guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been a big fan since I was like 6 or 7 years old. I'm 46 years old. I've seen some horrific stuff. I've seen some real stuff. I've seen some wonderful stuff. But you know, I was talking to Chris Pyro from the Hoods tonight, and we were just kind of chit chatting. I said we were just talking about how much we love the business, and I said, at 46 years old, as a homeowner with a real job and a wife and 9-year-old twins, I shouldn't love wrestling at 46 as much as I still do. I mean, this is my passion. I don't. All right.
I don't think it's a contest, guys.
No, it's definitely not a contest. But this is my passion. This is what I've always wanted to do ever since I used to watch Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund. We used to get WWF up here and nothing else. And that's probably 77, 78 is when I first started watching wrestling.
So you said you've seen some crazy stuff.
So by the grace of God and Tony Rumble,
a.k.a. God. God in a hard hat.
Just through connections and stuff. When I worked for Tony Rumble, I was very fortunate enough to meet Taz and Tommy Dreamer. And these were, absolutely. And these were guys that Tony used to do the indies with back in the day. And now here they were in ECW. And I went to Wonderland Greyhound Park in Revere, Massachusetts. I will never forget the date, November 23rd, 1996. And, you know, anytime I'm going to a show, I've got that tuxedo packed in the trunk.
And you never forgot that because that was Thanksgiving.
It was right around, because I was hungry.
Is that Thanksgiving?
It's right around there.
Oh, thanks, Aiden. I appreciate it. I hope the mics are picking this up.
You know, I got an Aiden chant going earlier at our first show today.
As you November 23rd, 1996.
Okay. So so I had done shows with Taz and Dreamer, and I got to an ECW show, and I knew people behind the scenes, and they had caught my ticket, and I got there, and Paul Richard, who was the local promoter, said, "Brother, do you have your tuxedo with you?" I said, "Of course I do." He goes, "All right, good, you're ring announcing. We didn't like the last guy. We want you to be the ring announcer." I said, "Fine, that's wonderful." And I don't know who's heard of the mass transit incident. This guy's first DCW show. Wow. Thank you very much. Yep, there it is. And
mass transit, New Jack, infamous. If you don't know it, read up about it. Was it just the craziest thing you've ever seen?
I had only been in the business a little over 3 years, so at that point, it was a little too real for me. But there's a lot that goes with it. I'm pretty sure the lawsuit is long over, but the kid's family tried to sue and whatever. But it was a local kid from the state of Rhode Island who used to do independent shows with these two midget wrestlers, and the two midgets would...
Little people, please.
Little people.
Thank you.
And so he came to the building with the two little people and tried to sell to Paul E. this great match where they beat the crap out of the big fat. This kid was like 400 pounds. So it was like this whole character thing and whatever. The long and short of it is, too late for that. We're already at the long, but Axel Rotten and Devon Dudley were supposed to wrestle the Gangsters. Axel's grandmother, if I remember correctly, was ill at the time, and he couldn't make the double shot up to New England. So it was Devon and the person known as Mass Transit. I don't want to put names or anything. So anyways, he works his way into the match.
Except when you name him as Mass Transit.
Well, no, that's what they called him. Oh, because he dressed up like a bus driver. So anyways, but...
Like Google isn't the hardest thing to use.
Long and short of it. I've ruined the whole long and short of everything. But so anyways, the kid works his way into the back, tells everybody he was trained by Killer Kowalski, which he wasn't, told that he was older than he was, which he wasn't, and gets himself into the match. Apparently, backstage, he said, my brother and my father are out there. Let's put on a good show. I want to, and you know New Jack.
Yeah, and I also know how wrestlers work. But like, so I know that like a wrestler like me has a level of where if this guy, so I'm going to do this. Whereas New Jack is like, his I'm going to do this is way different than my I'm going to do this.
And for the sake of my health and my life, I just want to say, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes, and it's funny that Nick was promoting hardcore wrestling, and hardcore wrestling I think is awesome when done right. Yep. But there's sometimes, and even like with the New Jack stuff, I'll watch somebody. I was watching like the Gypsy Joe thing, if you know, and it's just it gets to a point where it's just very uncomfortable, and also I think very uncomfortable for a crowd. Yeah. They're like, I've just come here to be entertained, and now there's all this weird politics going on in the ring that I know nothing about. But as a crowd member, you're just like, let's get some entertainment. Yeah. And then there's stuff that just is just like weird and turn offable, and obviously like watching a pool of it must have been the most. It was awkward.
Yeah, and I don't
experience,
wanna,
and you were ringside.
Oh God, I don't want to glorify it, but let's just say that something happened in the ring, and there was a lot of blood, and there was more blood than I'd ever seen in my life. And if you see the tape, you'll hear a gentleman yelling, "Ring the effing bell!" He's 17. Oh. He's talking to this guy, me, telling me to ring the bell, and I'm like, this is my first night in ECW. I'm not doing anything unless Heyman tells me to.
Right.
So needless to say, I did not ring the bell. I did go to the back and say, I think we have a potential problem out there. And
like was Heyman not even he was doing business stuff back, and they're like, something crazy is going on.
I just ran the back and said, I think we're going to need some towels.
Yeah, oh my God.
And then by the time I came back out, the thing was over, and New Jack wanted the microphone, which I gladly just handed right to him. And
of course.
Yeah. And I got to say, I'm a big New Jack fan.
Yeah, as am I.
You know what? And Nick Gage was talking about somebody disrespecting him and questioning wrestling being fake. It's the same thing. Here's a local young independent guy telling somebody of name value, hey, look, here's what I think we should do. Like my dad and my brother out there.
And again, it's how that person, how far they would go.
Yeah.
And New Jack's is a little different than mine. Rich, awesome, man. Thanks for coming on and sharing that story.
Thank you.
You want to plug anything real quick?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Rich Paladino, very original. And I don't go any further than Instagram, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just, real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The reason that I work for Beyond Wrestling is because I have been a big fan of yours for a long time. You have built a brand. You have built an empire without the corporate machine behind you. And I'm not here to blow smoke, but it was Biff Busick, who was working for Beyond, and they were doing the studio tapings. And again, we'll go back to the money. And I used to watch them and go, they were running my good friend Brian Fury's school up in North Andover. And I said, well, how can I be making any money ring announcing in front of the boys, in front of the school where all my friends train? And then when they did their first show at Fete almost 2 years ago, you were on the show, and I said, I want to be on that show. And Biff got me booked here. And honestly, I love all you people because you guys make me feel so welcome. And especially Aiden, of course.
He's a big star. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that this world and this thing can bring everything together and tie it up in a nice little bow.
I appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Rich Paladino, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, bud. Okay, So please welcome up the next guest coming up, a tag team here in the world of professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Barry and Bill Carr. Team Tremendous. Now, no offense to Rich, but your spot was going to be after Nick Gage because of the hilarity in my mind of the prisoner and the cops. But when Nick left, he was like still kind of taking his time, and I didn't want to set it up, so like I put Rich in between.
So you waited until he was safely on like 95.
Yes.
Like all the way down.
Yeah.
You know what? And we thank you for that.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I've got things to do.
Very intimidating.
That right?
Very
When I
intimidating.
first met him, I was like, "You're like, hey, I'm Dan. Hey, man, nice to meet. Like,
he
so
was
happy to
nice.
meet
Ooh.
you." And like, we were totally expecting somebody to be like, "Who the fuck's this guy?"
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what he looks like. He looks like he'll punch you in the face if you breathe on
They
him.
always say that, though. They always say that this is kind of hard, and it's going to be hard for all three of us. So they always say, like, the meanest villains or the meanest heels were always the nicest guys, and the biggest baby faces were always the biggest dickheads.
Oh, absolutely.
And I say that as three lovable baby faces here.
yes.
Yeah, we are the worst. We're the worst people. He hits kids for no reason.
Whatever.
You're next.
We have three of them in here.
Yeah, you're going down.
So, gentlemen, police officers,
Sir.
and I know police officers in real life.
Nope.
What do you mean?
One says nope. Describe the shtick. What is Team Tremendous, and why isn't it like? Okay, go over why. I guess kind of A, talk about what it is. B, go over why Team Tremendous and not like Miami Spice.
Sure. All right,
Channel.
So, which I only watched that in the squiggle vision.
Great channel.
Oh, I think I saw a purple boob. Like, you get all excited. No, what happened was that we were like a team Tremendous beforehand. Like we were like a trio with us and this guy Ken Scampy, who's no longer wrestling.
Scampy.
Yeah, there he is.
He's dead.
Yeah, rest in peace. Tragic. He died in a food fight.
From what?
Somebody poured Mentos in his mouth and then dumped Coke.
Smart.
Down. That was it. He just-
Smart. I thought it was just Diet Coke.
It was Diet Coke. I'm just, I don't drink Diet Coke. Aspartame. It'll kill you. See? That was a double entendre. Anyway, so I'm going to move on. So what ended up happening was...
No, he's like the smartest guy ever. You didn't pick up any of that, right?
I'm just so stupid.
Bill's still trying to figure out how to answer the first question. And so what ended up
Me and
happening...
Nick Gage are on a hugging basis.
Bill came back. Bill was in developmental. Bill got released. And he came back, and we had... we were teaming, like, doing our normal, like, I'm Dan Barry, he's Bill Carr, nothing fancy. And then one day I had like an idea to do a buddy cop like wrestling movie, and the idea was like I borrowed the idea of a legal denim ring from The Simpsons, and like we could look for a legal denim ring in beyond wrestling and pro wrestling. And
not even wrestle. It's just like let's find that.
Yeah, and
ring.
the premise of the movie in my head was that like we were looking, and then we'd end up having to enter a wrestling tournament to try and find out who the person was, and the plot would go on that we'd have to wrestle, and eventually it would be revealed to be the Doom Patrol, Chris Dickinson and Jaka and that whole gang, and that was gonna be the whole thing in my head. And I had this just like a tweet thing where I wrote it out a bunch of times, and then we were bored and with our gimmicks, and we just kind of didn't want to wrestle anymore, which was kind of sad to think about. And I was like, yo, we should do this stupid gimmick I came up with, because if I have a mustache, I look like Tom Selleck, and then you look like the big boss man with your suspenders and everything. Like, let's do that. And he's like, no. Because he still wanted to get signed again, and he was like, no way am I acting like an ass in front of all these people. So I was like, look, interspecies wrestling.
Look at you, sucker, want to get signed
This guy,
again.
yeah. Independent.
He remembers.
One Robert Dutch over here. And so we just got to a point where I'm like, look, we're just doing this one company, that'll be it. And so we came out, we cut the whole, like, we've been undercover cops the whole time, and the crowd got like really into, like, uncomfortably into it. And I didn't expect that. Like, I was really just being like, this, people are gonna laugh at me and we're gonna move on. And then he goes to me, he goes, what was that? And so we kept doing it. And
People liked me for some reason.
people enjoyed
Never
us
happened
being
before.
idiots. And then we were doing a couple shows, and then like Drew Cordero was like, "Hey, you guys want to do your cop gimmick and beyond?" And we're like,
Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there and ask you to do like a couple more paragraphs of Drew talking.
I gotta hold the mic away because he's very loud. Denver, Colorado, the man, not the place. Guys, no swearing on the show, okay? Corvisphere, where are you? That's it.
Okay, very nice.
It's just random yelling and then lowy high pitch. And that was it. We did. We weren't booked on the first American Rana, and then we wrestled Sugar Duncan and Aaron Epic in a match, and people liked it. And he's like, "Well, I guess I gotta put you on the show now." And that was it. And
Also, the best was, and for some reason, people liked it. Like my goal was to
I
make
still don't get it.
Yes.
and people go explain the gimmick to me, and I'm like, it's like,
I just did.
yeah. It's like
See you later.
and you have to explain the backstory of Team Tremendous, and I'm like, look, if you're worried about that, like you're paying attention to the wrong thing. Like that's not what we're here for, to tell you the backstory. Just watch the fucking match. Like that's all I care about. If you're wondering, we're like Don Quixote. We think we're cops, but we're not cops. Whatever. Move on. That's the whole entire thing, and just enjoy the wrestling match.
Wait a second.
Yeah, he's not a cop. But you have a criminal record. You can't be a cop.
I don't have a criminal record.
No, I could say that, and now people are going to Google it. It's going to be hilarious when you go to Twitter later.
I love the idea of you were like, were you like, I'm just done wrestling?
Yes, I think me more so than you, but I was, at that point, I've been wrestling right now for 15 years. And at that point was, yeah, right? Somebody's just like, oh, shit. Like,
Well, do I share the story of you and I?
oh, that was great. We'll go to that first. Let's do that first.
So he's been wrestling for 15 years. I think I'm going on 17 now, but I was like, I don't know, you've been around forever, and like I feel the way that you like held yourself when I first met you, like he had a birthday and he was like, I'm 31. I was like, what? I was like, I thought you were like 42 years old.
Yeah, you're older than me.
Yeah.
Let's put that out there.
Like a lot older than you.
He's like, oh, I thought you were. I'm like, well, that's like a really backhanded compliment because I'm like, oh, it means he respects me because that wasn't complimentary at all.
Yeah.
That was awful.
But 15 years is a lot of time.
Yeah, and I just got to a point where I was like, you felt like you're on a treadmill and you're not going anywhere, and you're like, so I started doing like stand up, and stand up was huge. And I really liked stand up, and
stand up was huge.
Well, huge for me. I got.
I did some Comedy Central roasts, and I was like, Team Tremendous.
Under my alias, Lisa Lampanelli,
Yes.
and and I just got to the point where I was like, maybe I'll just do comedy more, and then I decided to do this one thing, and I'm like, oh, we'll do it like once a month. We'll just be these stupid cops, and then like. Now it's ridiculous, and we did not expect this at all.
No.
Bill, you dig it? Like, it's funny, you said you were in developmental, and while I was there, like I was in a perfect world, I was always like, why don't they just like figure out like what kind of character they want to wrestle the Undertaker, and then I'll be that character, and then like
Absolutely.
like creative, right?
Yeah.
Where's creative?
They did it to him.
Yeah, well, that's what they did to me. They,
Wait a second.
oh yeah.
Hold on.
They wanted me to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania 25.
You too?
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, so,
Spoiler alert.
John Laurinaitis had called me one day and said, "We want you to cut your hair." I'm not good at impressions. Hey, I'm John Laurinaitis. Was that it? Was that close?
Dead ringer.
That was good, right? That was real good.
This guy's an expert.
He knows.
He's an expert at not wearing sleeves either. That's good.
Yeah, so he called me up one day, and he was like, you know what? We want you to cut your hair, shave your face, and dye your hair blonde, and take off whatever you're wearing and switch to trunks. And I'm like, So I was like, okay. And I was told to do whatever he told me to do, get it done within the next, 12 hours.
This is while you were in the system?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, my God, they got something, big planned for me. They didn't.
You got swerved.
I did get swerved.
You were the original one.
Yeah, so they wanted me to be a big, loud, obnoxious Texan from New York. And I couldn't.
They wanted to be like a true cowboy, so like
Yeah.
dye your hair blonde and wear trunks, like a real cowboy.
Yeah. I didn't really understand
So
why.
they did. I mean, I guess what I was getting at was like, you just hope they come up with something, and like all of a sudden, you guys have come up with this thing that's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But they actually
called me up and gave me everything that they wanted me to do, and they would call me every week, say, "Hey, try to do this different in your promos. Try to do this, and that." So then, like a year and a half goes by, and what was it? Ty Bailey, I think was his name. Came down and he was like, yeah, whatever. And he was like, you know what? We know you could do this gimmick. We will put this on the back burner. If we need to go back to it, you can. We want you to do something yourself. I was like, awesome, great. That was on Thursday.
I'm going to fart on everyone. Is that like
The fart bastard.
Yeah.
But that was on a Thursday. Friday, I got fired.
That's yourself, though, right?
Well, here's the thing. There's the reason I was told why they fired me on the phone was, we don't see enough of yourself in your work. Well, you told me to do every little thing that I did.
We gave you 1 day
To turn it all around.
to be yourself.
You really fucked that up.
I'm gonna be Bill.
All right. Well, you know what? Let me sleep on this. I'll wake up the next day. I'll do something. Oh, get a phone call. Oh, I'm done. See you later.
But I was going to be myself tonight.
Oh, I was dyeing my hair back brown and
Son of a
everything.
bitch bastard.
So the fun of it is that, then you guys come up with this thing, and it's really fun. And I'm glad you guys are having a good time with it.
Oh, yeah.
And cool. I mean, you're looking to put it on the world tour, yeah?
Yeah, well, Northeast
The Rhode
America.
Island tour.
New York to Rhode Island. We're killing it in that little
sir.
region. That's it. Now.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool. Team Tremendous. Plug away.
You can go for it.
Plug away. You guys are on Pro Wrestling Team.
Oh, we do. ProWrestlingTees.com/Team Tremendous.
He's at WWE Dutch on Twitter because
I'm still not over.
He's a real cowboy.
I'm a real cowboy. Still bitter.
I'm at the Dan Barry on everything, and follow us, whatever. We just got announced for PWG again, so you can go watch that, and good times, man.
Very cool. Team Tremendous, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, bud. Thank you. Yeah. Bill and Dan. Okay, two more fun guests. I want to bring up Aiden raised his hand like, ooh, maybe it would be me? I don't know. Okay, please welcome to the stage my friend and yours, Steve the Turtle Weiner. Steve, how are you doing? Choosing to put a barrier in between us. Very smart.
I just broke the walls down.
Yes. Did you, though?
I hope not.
Are you Chris Jericho of some sorts?
If I had 2 championships, I would be.
Okay.
And I am championship-less, so sad face.
Oh, you've never won a championship.
Oh, actually, I have. My best friend, Kevin, who's actually here tonight, actually saw a funny story. My debut.
Right into it. Look at this guy. He's like, I know how you podcast, Colt.
Well, I got one shot with you before and blew it. Now I get a second chance. It's time for redemption.
I don't think you blew it at all. I thought you were wonderful.
Well, thank you. I feel very honored to lead into Dean.
Now you're blowing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my point is, April 23rd, 2005, I was in a Royal Rumble match and I won a trophy.
That's a championship.
Yes, it is.
What trophy?
The Slam Tep Cup.
The what?
It was called the Slam Tep Cup.
And who did you throw out?
An old wrestler named Dan Freitas, but there was this gimmick, you see, where it was a student show, and the idea was the person that sold the most tickets would win the match.
Spoiler. Let's not give away the magic, Turtle.
Ugh. It's a little bit of magic.
Okay. So how many tickets did you sell?
Actually, it was the only time we ever sold out that church hall.
Wow. How many is... Like, did you sell like 1,000 tickets?
125.
125 of your closest friends.
Yep, closest friends, families, parents, step-parents, hot stepmoms. If you ever find someone named Susan Weiner on Facebook, you'll understand why.
Yep. Quick little plug for Susan.
Hey, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it.
Perfect. Turtle, you are a great representation of wrestling. We had you on before Eugene. You thought you blew it, huh?
Well, at the time, it was at the Chikara pay-per-view. Never compromised, and I was like,
Are you telling me not to compromise?
well, I'm telling everyone never to compromise.
Yeah. I think Chikara said it best, though.
Yes, I did.
Because they labeled a pay-per-view after.
Absolutely. Well, technically, internet pay-per-view, but who are we to be technical?
You.
Oh.
You're you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I have your blessing.
Yes. God bless you.
Oh, thank you. Basically, I was very nervous, and I felt I could have done better, so I'm very happy tonight because I can just let it all hang out. I wish I could really mean that, but unfortunately, I'm no prize, and also we got children present.
I'm no I think you're a babe.
I'm no
Turtle.
Bill Carr, trust me.
I thought you were going to say I'm no Bill Cosby.
I'm also no Bill Carr. Oh, believe me, I could probably sell some Jello Porter $10, you know.
Okay. Who else can you do? Do some wrestlers for me. Wrestlers.
Oh, I could do Mick Foley's impression. Excuse me. I can do Mick Foley's impression of Ric Flair. You loser, I want to let you know that you are going to be the future of this business, because I am the man. Woo!
Nice. Can you do Mick Foley's impression of Ric Flair's impression of Shawn Michaels' impression of the Boogeyman? That's a lot to do. That's a lot to do.
I was about to get ready to
You had one?
slam my Merce into my head as the clock and everything, like, I'm the Boogeyman! And I knocked myself out.
I love how you called it a Merce.
Well, that's what my sister called it. My sister, Kathy, who lives in L.A., gave me this for some reason, but I love it. And I need to have a Merce because I like to feel my stuff on me. That's how I know I never lose anything.
I'm surprised you're not a fanny packman.
I thought about it, but I knew with the way Michael Hayes bust that out, it would be gimmick infringement.
Ah. Yeah.
No one rocks a fanny pack better than Michael P.S. Hayes.
And also, I would recommend not doing everything that Michael P.S. Hayes does.
Amen. Only he could dress up like he does at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and only he can say stuff to wrestlers that I'd stay away from that. Smart.
I'm sure I will.
Very smart. Well, Turtle, I love that you come to all the shows.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether you wrestle or whether you don't wrestle, you're here.
Just commentating.
Commentating. Is that what you did today?
That's what I did. I was a commentator with A.R. Fox, of all people, during the Beyond Originals versus am I saying it right? Pazuzu? Oh, bless you too. Pazuzu.
Hey, callback. I like it.
You're welcome. But it was a very fun match to call, and I've been in the wrestling business now for 10 years, and I don't plan on stopping. Even if I'm just like old and gray, I'll be like, wait up, boys. Let me get the door for you. Something like that.
In what scenario? What's the scenario in your head of wait up, boys? Let me get the door for you.
Well,
it's like A.R. Fox Jr. coming to the ring, like coming to the.
Maybe one day we'll see Turtle the Third, but you never know. I'm single still, so and
all right, ladies.
Although then again, they would have to meet certain expectations, which thanks to your DVD is out there in the open, which I really appreciate because if it wasn't you, it was going to be me.
Fair enough. Yes, you were on the Wrestling Road Diaries.
One of my favorite road diaries ever.
You're a big star.
I am.
So for my plugs, I'm plugging for everyone to buy the Wrestling Road Diaries.
Volume 1.
To see.
And 2.
For your plugs, to see Turtle in there. Turtle, where are you at on the Twitters and stuff?
Let me see. I am on Twitter, Turtle Weiner, or is it Steve the Turtle? Oh, Steve the Turtle. And on Facebook, it's Turtle Weiner. And I would like to say thank you, sir. I wish we had more time, but it seems like it's boom, boom.
Well, hold on. If I was to give you more time,
I would tell.
What is the information you want to get out to the world?
Well, let's see. On the night that Jakar went to New Hampshire, you were filming Road Diaries, and it was you, a man you might know now as Daniel Bryan, but better known to the world as the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, Sal Renaro, and a Ring of Honor cameraman or just a volunteer cameraman. And I, as I do for everyone, as my best friend Kevin can testify, to help wrestlers save money, one of the best things I do is I always open my door to people and never charge them a thing. And I did the same thing for you. I think I literally you're coming with me, handcuffed you to the point. And we went to Chili's and we enjoyed a nice evening. Then you guys came back to my house and stayed the next day. And as I found out on your DVD bonus section, it seems I left some information on my computer that, if you haven't been to my Facebook page, you probably know by now I have a thing for pantyhose. I like women who wear pantyhose. There's this very great bonus feature where Colt, Danielson, and Sal Renaro go to the old Ring of Honor Wrestling School and have a discussion with Pelly Primo and Sarah Del Rey and Daisy Hayes, and it's a must-see. So please visit ColtMerch.com, buy that DVD, because then it would get him over. If he's not already over, he'd get me over, and it's good laughs.
And then after that, if you're a lady, if you're one of the 7% of the women that listen to this show,
that's right.
feel free to send Turtle your pictures of you wearing pantyhose, right? All right. The Turtle, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Time to shell up.
Yes. Let it be known that also last night, Chris Hero and I slept at Turtle's house, and there was probably 16 wrestlers sleeping throughout the floor. It's a real thing that it still happens in wrestling. Okay, one last guest. Please welcome my very good friend Joey Ryan to the stage. Joey!
How do I follow that?
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, thanks.
Not into pantyhose.
Couldn't have let me follow Team Tremendous, huh?
That would have been an easy one to follow?
Yeah.
That was a rip on you fuckers. Heads up. Great.
You didn't get into fetish talk with them, though, so.
Well, are you still into braces?
I do enjoy a mouthful of braces, yes. Mouth bling, as I like to call it.
Are you the only one that calls it that?
Quite possibly. Me and guys in jail, probably.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah. You and Nick.
I don't want. Go ahead.
Okay, nothing. You doing all right? You're What haven't we talked about? You were on the show very early in the podcast.
I believe I was in the top, number 20 something or other.
Yeah,
and I haven't been on since.
Well, here you are.
Yeah, back.
Am I missing anything?
What episode is?
This is 260 or something like that.
So has anything happened in the past 250 episodes that?
Well, we can't talk about. You've really taken a stance of a proud independent wrestler, and I think it was kind of cool. I remember it's nice, like you had that nice TNA thing, and it was almost like do you feel that those fans willed you into that position, and you really went with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to take what I was given and run with it, because if that was my one chance on television, I was going to make it memorable.
I don't remember what was it again. It was 87%, right?
Yeah, they did the gut check thing where they let the fans decide, or they let the fans vote. Not decide. They decided who would get contracts, but they put a fan poll on their website like, "Hey, this guy just wrestled on our show. Do you think we should give him a contract?" And luckily, I was blessed enough to wrestle Austin Aries, who's amazing, and someone I'm familiar with. And we had a decent little match, and 87% of their audience said, "Yeah, give that guy a contract." So when they put me on live television and said, "No, we're not giving you a contract," I kind of threw it in their face that they're not giving the people what they want.
Right. And again, I think you said it best. It's a situation of making the most out of what you're given.
Absolutely.
And I feel you've done that a lot.
Yeah, kind of an opportunist that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any kind of press or any kind of whatever I can grab at, I pull, and I use it to its most.
Which is nice because you're in L.A. It's not nice because it's hard in the world of independent wrestling. I mean, we're in Rhode Island right now, and you flew all the way across the country. So, sometimes, when we think about budgets for shows, it's a reality. We want to bring as many fans as we can, but that L.A. trip is a hard one for especially East Coast promoters to want it to do. So that's kind of like a hard thing to be an independent wrestler in L.A., but also there's... that's where Hollywood is, right?
Yeah, that's where. I mean, I can supplement my income by getting modeling stuff, acting stuff.
Have you done some weird stuff? Well, I know, but
jeez, that's not that anyone's found yet. But No, yeah, I mean, I actually I have a talent agency that gets me modeling work, which nobody ever sees. Just like me, and I'm sure there's catalogs with me wearing whatever.
What are you doing?
I just
sweaters.
It's no, I mean I've done stuff where I'm
and they want you with the mustache.
Sometimes they ask me to clean it up a little bit. Luckily, my facial hair grows relatively quick. I've been blessed with that gene, so I can clean it up a little bit, or I can grow things. Like a lot of times they want a more rugged thing, so they want more of a beard, and it's just there's different things that you can do with different looks when you're blessed with facial hair, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've gotten quite a few modeling stuff, commercial stuff, music videos, just different.
Yeah, and you were in the Mountain Goats music video, which I championed big time. John Darnielle and the Mountain Goats just put out. I know it's the Chavo Guerrero song. Beat the Champ, right? Is the name of the album, and I was so excited when I followed him on Twitter and he sent out the link of the video. And I didn't even know what to expect. I was like, there's got to be something wrestling in it. And, you were also in, what was the one? You were on the beach.
Oh, Wrestling Isn't Wrestling?
Yeah, which I was in also.
Yes.
You showed up in that, and who knew what was doing what. And then I'm watching The Legend of Chavo Guerrero Sr., the song.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there you are.
There I am.
In the music video.
Yeah.
Have you seen has that gotten a lot of hits? Have you even looked at that?
I believe Wrestling Isn't Wrestling still has more hits than it, but
that got 1 million on day one. I think. Right.
Yeah. But it's become popular. I wasn't familiar with the Mountain Goats before that, but they have kind of a cult following. But they do have cult following too.
Yeah, me too. But yeah. I think they're in a way of independent, almost I think he understands the way of independent wrestling,
for sure.
in the way of independent music. I don't know much. I'm not really a music man, but I know he's the equivalent of a high-profile indie wrestler.
Big wrestling fan too.
Yeah,
that I learned when I met him.
Yeah. So you were on the shoot.
Yeah.
Anything good come from that?
It was me, a couple other guys who live in Southern California. Ray Rosas was one of the guys they cast. Ryan Nemeth, who is Dolph Ziggler's brother, who wrestled at NXT as Briley Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
He was in it as well. I think that was. Man, if I'm forgetting somebody, but I think we were the main wrestlers in it, and then Chavo Guerrero Sr. was there.
Chavo was in it.
He was in a song about him, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, but I didn't even, as I was watching it, it didn't even hit on me that you could actually get that guy.
Yeah, you could book Chavo Guerrero Sr.
Yeah. It was 200.
He could have been on this show tonight.
Right.
I really want Chavo Guerrero Sr.
Who was Chavo Classic. You guys remember him? For those who don't remember, yeah. Was he all right?
He was okay. He was very, very excited to be, on the songs about him.
Yeah.
So, he's probably flattered and excited to get in the ring and do some stuff for the music video. Yeah, I mean, he's 66, 67 maybe. There's the big, I guess in the song it goes to him coming off the top rope with something, and for the music video shoot he's wanted to do a moonsault. In the 66-year-old man wanted to get on the top rope and do a moonsault.
Which, this, I don't want this to be racist, but I feel those Mexican luchadors they could. I feel 90-year-old El Hijo or Santo can just still flip around. It's not a big.
I feel if they're doing it every week all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's something you might lose if you don't do it in a while. You might lose your timing.
Did he lose his timing?
I mean. So there's three of us, but for the shot, they just wanted me to catch him on this moonsault. And there's no crash bag, there's no practice. It's let's just shoot it. Okay, so I get there. We do the whole scene. He climbs up to the top rope and he jumps. Now, a moonsault, it goes high and arcs, right? He just jumped kind of straight backwards, at me. And so I'm my instant thought, 1,000 thoughts run through your head in a split second. I'm oh my God, he's going to land on his head and die. And I'm going to be holding dead Chavo Guerrero in my hands.
Which would make for a great song, actually, by the Mountain Goats.
So I kind of jump up and grab him and just kind of pull him down. But it kind of pulls him down awkwardly, on his shoulder a little bit. And so he's and he's in a lot of pain. And keep in mind, there's a whole shoot. This whole shoot's about him. And the director's that's his hero, the director's hero growing up. And so I'm like another split second in my head, I'm like, I have to take the fall for this. I have to say that like I caused this accident to happen, or else like I'm gonna shame him in front of these guys that are completely marking out for him that he probably doesn't get all the time anymore because he's up there in age and new generation of fans. And so like I was like, oh, sorry, my bad. I was out of position. And then like I thought, okay, I apologize, blah blah blah. But then he just kind of harps on it a little bit. And he's just kind of like, just kind of like like calling me unprofessional and things like that. And I'm just like. And I'm the funny thing is I'm looking at Ray Rosas and I'm looking at Ryan Nemeth and they're just like you saved his life. Like I could tell in their face, they're like, even afterwards when I talked to them, they're like, he would have died if you did not. Like you saved his life. But I took the fall because like I didn't want. Obviously, it wasn't going to change my life to.
Right, and you knew 6 months later you'd be able to come on the podcast and tell the story straight.
Well, like there's no like there really hasn't been much of a story. Like I honestly like. It was what it was. I took the fall for it, and that would have been just that day in front of the crew and everything. But then Ray Rosas became Facebook friends with Chavo.
I love it.
And like Chavo like keeps bringing it up in posts about me. Like if Ray's in a picture with me, he'll like talk shit about me in the Ray's picture, and like I'm like okay, like it's fine. Like no one's, but like I mean I know what happened that day. But like if he wants to keep. But like the scene, it wasn't even affected by it or anything like that. But like, it was just.
I feel you're the bigger man. Like if old dudes want
now in this.
Yeah. But like if old dudes want to, like he just learned about Facebook. I can only assume.
Yeah.
Like his grandkids are like teaching him about Facebook, and like you show up, he's like, oh fuck that guy.
Yeah. It was just one of those awkward things where like I was literally like when he was jumping at me, I had that like moment of. Like the audience doesn't really know like when you're in a wrestling match and somebody something's wrong or like something bad's gonna happen and you have that like that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. Like that's the thought I got when he just jumped backwards. He was gonna go just back right onto his head, and I was like, no, and I love
how you deferred to the crowd here and go, you guys know like when you're in the wrestling match.
I said no. I said I said they don't know. They don't know when stuff doesn't always go as planned, and sometimes people are. Either get hurt or putting themselves at, or putting an accident happens and they're at risk of being hurt, and you get that sinking feeling in the stomach because obviously you don't want to see anyone get hurt.
Well, amazing that Joey Ryan saved Chavo's.
Yeah, actually,
life.
I did save Chavo's life.
Lifesaver.
Whether he admits it or not, I have witnesses that know wrestling, and they will attest to. They will attest to the day I saved Chavo Guerrero Sr.'s life.
Tonight, you put a blow pop in my mouth after rubbing it on your chest and it being in the pants of another man. For the sake of this audience, I allowed it to happen.
For you guys,
yes.
You guys.
Is the thing that you did with Tommy Dreamer the grossest thing you've done with the blow pop, or has it been topped?
Well, Tommy Dreamer put it in his ass, and then back,
and then you put it in your mouth,
and then back into my mouth.
Okay. I love that guy's chuckle for that. By the way, there's this dude just chilling out back there.
But like the funny thing is you ask that now, and I have to think back of the many, 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 many times the blow pop has gone into some filthy place and then back into my mouth to figure out if that Tommy Dreamer thing is the worst. TMZ actually covered that, by the way.
Yeah.
If you Google like Tommy Dreamer, Joey Ryan, like blow pop or TMZ or whatever, like another plug for Google, by the way, which seems to be the theme of the night. Google, struggling Google, help them out. Yeah, like the TMZ article come up about it, which was kind of cool that they covered that because it was on iPay-per-view or something. So I guess it was.
So that's the number one.
Well, yeah, because that touched the mat too, and the mat's probably really filthy. Like
disgusting. Yes.
Like the mat, a pro wrestling mat is way more filthy than anybody's mouth. Like a pro wrestling mat is more filthy.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's because people sweat and bleed on it and things like that.
But you do it for the art.
Right. I sacrifice.
It's true though, because you told me the story, and I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but I'm just saying it, and you yell at me if I'm not allowed to say it. But like for Lucha Vavoom, you would come out and smoke a cigarette, although you don't smoke cigarettes.
No, not at all.
And you're like, for the art, I'm gonna right.
Yeah. No, it's. I do that like Lucha Vavoom. and some shows that are more comedy based, and Lucha Vivum is very comedy based, where I know I'm not gonna like, or maybe the match isn't as pressure filled to do a lot of things,
like a PWG show, right?
Right, where I know I'm not gonna like hack up a lung if I run the ropes. I don't mind smoking a cigarette because it adds to the character. But yeah, it's the worst. Like I get to the back after because I don't smoke, and I feel like shit.
And you had never smoked before that?
I never smoked in my life. I mean,
then you're just like, oh, I've got to, like, that's like, I don't know if you'd realize like the weird sacrifice for wrestling. It's just like when you're in the moment and you're just like, this is what Joey Ryan would do. He'd rub his balls with baby oil and smoke a cigarette, so I'm going to do it.
I mean, you kind of have to do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to accept the character. But yeah, and I mean, there's been times because like obviously I do it every Lucha Vivum show where like I take a bad puff or something, and like but I can't sit there coughing and look like I've never smoked a cigarette before. Yeah. So I have to hold this cough in while I'm doing it, and it's like burning my lungs and my throat. And I'm just like, I just gotta play it off like I'm the coolest guy in the building, and it's not always easy, but yeah.
But you are, man.
Kids don't smoke.
Yeah, there it is.
And don't rub baby oil on your balls.
Correct.
Unless you've been asked to.
There it is. Doing it for the art of wrestling. Joey Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Joey, where...
I have plugs too.
Yeah, where are you at on the internet?
Do I plug my Pro Wrestling Tees? Because I know you have a stock in that, don't you?
Please.
The Pro Wrestling Tees. ProWrestlingTees.com/Joey Ryan. Very easy to find. My Twitter is at Joey Ryan Online because there's a singer-songwriter that stole Joey Ryan. They just got to it before me. But they're also verified. They also have the blue tick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So I can't, because I know when you got your Twitter or whatever, you weren't.
I was Dr. Colt Cabana.
You were Dr. Colt Cabana, and then you wanted Colt Cabana, but somebody had it.
So you German motherfucker.
So you went through Twitter to get Colt Cabana,
Yeah.
but like I can't just go through Twitter to get Joey Ryan because there's already a Joey Ryan who's verified, has the blue tick, so I can't just steal it from him. But I'm sure he's a very talented guy.
It's like if your name was like Joey POTUS.
Yeah.
You're like, I want POTUS.
Yeah.
That was a political joke.
So yeah,
which I'll never do again.
Joey Ryan Online is my Twitter, but I did beat him to the punch on Instagram, which is just Joey Ryan. And then
so it's at just Joey Ryan?
No, it's just Joe? Are we plugging just
No, we're not.
No. No, it's at Joey Ryan on Instagram. Yeah.
Fun stuff. All right, Joey Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, buddy. No, we're good. All right, guys. Hey, that is the show. I appreciate you for staying late here on a Sunday night. I appreciate all of my guests. Let's list them off and clap for them, right? Nick Gage, Nick Effin Gage, Rich Paladino, Team Tremendous, Bill Carr and Dan Barry, Steve the Turtle Weiner, and Joey Ryan. Big thanks to Beyond Wrestling for holding this. Thank you to you here clapping. Thank you to everybody at home for listening. I want to get some plugs and some sponsors out right now. Highspots.com, full-length DVDs, downloads. Great stuff if you want gear. If any of you guys want gear, if you want to buy a wrestling ring, that's the place to get it, highspots.com. Also, the $5 wrestling $5 wrestling titles are all there. OneHourTees.com, who help run ProWrestlingTees.com, where most of these guys have their shirts up available. Support your favorite independent wrestlers at ProWrestlingTees.com, and we'll have to get Nick Gage's Twitter master to get him. I don't think he would be capable of doing it. TweakedAudio.com/Colt, the earbuds that I use. Get over 30% from free shipping just because you listen to the show. This is it. I am on a flight tomorrow. Oh, I appreciate your one-man Colt chants. But I am getting out of here. It's time for me to leave. It's time for you to go get some grilled cheese outside. This has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks. All right, before you turn that up, Aiden, come up here, buddy. We'll do the Easter egg with you. You guys, Aiden?
I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm up in this joint, man. Cheers.
Who's recording this? You recording video?